We are back with another draft profile. This time on maybe I was gonna say the most skilled, but maybe not. But I remember this guy being like in the conversation for number one overall a couple years ago when people look ahead a few years. So it'll be interesting to talk to our expert about this guy and see what's going on.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, Kyle Demetrius. Back with me, as always, is co-host JD, the sweet chili Thai sauce to my mesquite barbecue. Actually, I should flip those around. I feel like you're more of a barbecue guy.
That's messed up because I'm from the South. You just assume I like the barbecue flavor. That's racist.
It's reverse racism, actually.
Reverse racism.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Am I wrong, though?
Either one.
Do you have a preferred barbecue flavor?
I do like sweet barbecue sauces.
Sweet barbecue?
Yeah.
Interesting. Like a Sweet Baby Ray's?
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about the Sweet Baby Ray's Facebook video?
No.
Like 5 minutes and just not bring our guest in.
Anyway. Poor guest. He's just sitting there waiting.
The poor guest. We have another definitely top 10 talent, probably top 5, maybe top 3. I don't know. We're going to find out. Let's go, JD.
So again, if you're new to us, what we do is we kind of do a breakdown of each player's statistical profile, kind of get to know who they are, and then we bring in our expert to kind of give us the deep dive on each player. And of course, how will they fit in with our beloved William Eklund? So today, Matthew Savoy, who is another January baby. So he's a 5'9" center. He's 179 pounds, plays for the Winnipeg Ice, who is probably the best team in the CHL right now. This year for the Winnipeg Ice, he's played 38 games, scored 19 goals, 36 assists, for 55 points in that time. So, and yeah, Matthew Savoy.
Just a casual 1.45 points per game.
Yeah, 1.4. Yes. So he's apparently not as big as 5'9", but we will ask our expert here and find out more about Matthew.
We brought back Tony Ferrari of the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated and wherever prospects can be found because, well, it makes it easier to have somebody nice on.
Somebody Tony, nice. That's kind. That's kind of you to say.
To be fair, our highest compliment we've ever gotten was, I don't know if you know John Cullen, comedian. He said that Locked On Sharks is a real nice time. So it's in our Twitter bio and has been for 2.5 years.
I mean, the nicest compliment I've ever received is Bald King, which is the background on my Twitter bio. So I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you pump yourself up with the comments people give you.
As 3 white guys, we just don't get enough compliments, enough hugs.
The plight of the straight white male.
I just want to be told I'm pretty sometimes. Okay, is that too much to ask?
Kyle,
tell me my eyes are beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Huge hog, nice eyes. There we go. All right. Speaking of huge hogs, Matt Savoy is only 5'9". Is he actually 5'9", or is he
hockey
magical
5'9"?
Math?
Wink.
Yeah, is he hockey? Yeah, exactly.
6'1" Matthew Savoy would be a sick prospect and definitely go first overall in this draft. Unfortunately, 5'9" is what he's listed at. And I'll say listed at because I'm not sure. He is very small, but he is incredibly skilled. You mentioned that he might be the most skilled prospect in the draft, and I genuinely do think that's a possibility because the skill in this kid's unreal. To put up 55 points as a draft eligible through 38 games, it's pretty ridiculous. Like you said, 1.45 points per game, 5th in the WHL in scoring, which is a league that beats the hell out of players because it is the league that loves to check guys 3 seconds after the puck is gone and everything. And Matthew Savoy's putting up big numbers, and admittedly, a lot of them are on the power play and everything, but the skill and potential that this kid brings to the ice is just ridiculous. And could he be the next Braden Point? I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch this kid kind of get to that level.
That's a lofty comparison.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hold on here. Did you pick that name on purpose because he's also small and played in the WHL?
That's exactly why I picked that name, because he is very small and played in the WHL, and he plays center, which is something I think Matthew Savoy can do at the next level, even though he is a smaller guy.
Can he play center at the next level in the eyes of an NHL organization?
Some of them I think so. I know at least a couple of them do believe that he can, because the ability that he has in open ice is what's so valuable with this kid. His ability to kind of change pace, skate at high speed. I've seen some people kind of dogging his skating recently, and I don't know what the hell they're talking about, because every time I watch this kid, he's dynamic on his feet, laterally, agile. He's able to pick up speed. He's able to cut down speed and kind of change gears and shift gears and stuff. So this kid's a guy that I love seeing, and he has the mobility, he has the mindset, and he has the skill to play in the open ice like a center has to. And defensively, he's going to need to kind of pick up the pace and do what he's got to do there defensively. But this kid has all the tools to do it, so I don't have any reason that he wouldn't play center at the next level.
What makes him so special? Like, what's the one thing you point to that's like, okay, that is NHL caliber?
Just the variety of ways he can beat an opposing player. The diversity of his skill set, I guess, is maybe the skill that I'll say is what stands out, because he's able to beat a guy with speed. He's able to beat a guy with his hands. He's able to kind of shift gears and create space so he can find a passing lane. The ability to kind of affect everything on the ice is what really makes him special. And his ability to make every single player around him, no matter who he's playing with, better is just unreal. At the WHL level, he's one of the most dynamic players in the entire league. So I think going forward, he's just going to continue being that.
Does he have help? Is this okay? By help, I mean he plays on the same team as Connor Geeky. Mikey Milne has 52 points. Connor McLennan 51. There's Carson Lambos is on this team. Jack Finley's on this team.
Is he the engine?
Yeah. Or is it more of like a team effort and he's benefiting?
I'll start on the power play, because that's where he really, really, really shines. And he 100%, I think he's the engine on the power play. He really is the creator, the guy that does a lot of the work and makes a difference there. And as you mentioned, all these other guys on this team that have so much skill, Mike Malign, Connor McLennan, Connor Geeky, but you can only play with so many players, and he doesn't play with Connor Geeky. He doesn't play with Connor McLennan. He plays with Mikey Malign quite a bit, and yeah, he's made Mikey Malign look good. But Mikey Malign's a guy that wasn't drafted, and there was good reason for it. So I think he's a guy that really does just improve everyone around him. There have been times where he's played with Zach Benson, and Zach Benson's an unreal 2005 born kid that is going to be a high draft pick in his draft year. But seeing the ability to kind of play with any level of skill, bring their talent level up, and be able to kind of distribute the puck into good opportunities, I think is what makes Matthew Savoy the really high-end player that he is. And I think he can drive a line. I think he does at the WHL level. And with his skill set, the pace of play that he plays at, and just his ability to kind of survey the entire ice and find the weakness that the opponent's giving him is what's really going to make him special.
Hi guys, I wanted to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Built Bar. I know it's February now, New Year, New You might be over, but if you're still trying to stick to your New Year's resolutions, eat right, that's where Built Bar comes in. Also, if you tried out their puffs, if you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. Their puffs are the first ever protein infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallow. They're not just a protein bar, they're a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. They come in incredible flavors like yummy cinnamony churro, chocolate marshmallow, banana cream pie. So good. These are going to be your new favorites. And yes, every Built Bar is covered in 100% real chocolate, including the puffs, 100% real chocolate. They're low calorie, high protein. Replace your candy bar with these. They're better. A typical candy bar can have anywhere between 200 to 300 calories. Not Built Bar with their 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. So if you haven't picked out a flavor yet, go online to built.com. Go check out all their amazing flavors. They've got new ones coming in all the time. And then if you can't figure out which one you want, go get a pack with a bunch of different ones so you can try them out. So go to built.com. Use the promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your order. Again, use the promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com.
I would like to point out that they have a person named Sequoia Swan on their team. And then they also have another person that literally their flag is Italy beside them, Alessandro Segafredo. You don't see too many Italian hockey players, especially in the WHL. Yeah, super sidetracked here as I look at this. So Matt Savoy is the line driver, is the star, is the player on his team, and there's no two ways about it. Nobody is getting it twisted that maybe, hey, somebody's bumping him up, right?
I don't think there's anyone else on this team that you look at and you go, okay, this is the player that's driving play. I think you look in years past and you're like, okay, like this is the guy that's boosting up this player. But you look at the players he's playing with this year, and like I said, Mikey Milan's been the big one, and you're like, is Mikey Milan really making that big of a difference? Are we gonna
No.
try to talk about this undrafted kid being the true driver of this offense when at the end of the day, Matthew Savoy's outscoring him too. So it's not like he's riding the coattails of a guy that's got 75 points and leading the league or anything. He's the guy that's been leading the league at times this year.
So what? Because I think with Savoy, if you were following the coming up drafts a couple years ago, it was Wright and Savoy, and then Wright and Savoy and Lambert basically were like the holy trinity. Why has Savoy kind of fallen behind your Coolies, your Kemmels? Like, why is he not quite? Hey, it's Shane Wright and it's Matt Savoy anymore?
I think it's because he hasn't grown since 2 years ago.
Was he 5'9", like at like 15 years old, and just hasn't shot up?
No, he was. I think he was 5'7" during his first year in the WHL because he played a couple years ago. He played a lot more games than he was supposed to because of an exemption they gave him. Because it really was, like you said, Matthew Savoy and Shane Wright, and both of them applied for exceptional status. Shane Wright got it, Matthew Savoy didn't, and there was arguments at the time like Matthew Savoy is the more dynamic player. Matthew Savoy is the one that could possibly be the more generational superstar, and that's because of the skill set. And I think that skill set's still there, but it's still in a 5'8.5", 5'9" frame. So you're still worried about the size. Is he going to be able to do what he does at the WHL level at the next level? And I think he will. I think there's obviously going to be adjustment periods. I don't think like if he were to be drafted second overall or something and be rushed in the NHL, I think you'd be looking at Jack Hughes' rookie season where he's just being out muscled all the time. So I think he's going to need time to kind of bulk up and get stronger. But man, the skill set on this kid is unreal. And if he does go 2, 3, 4 in this draft, I won't be shocked at all.
So our big question, we're trying to find a friend for William Eklund. How would Savoy fit with Eklund as a partner? You would assume partners on a line.
I think it'd be really fun. I think you put those two together, put William Eklund on the wing and Matthew Savoy being this dynamic presence in the middle, and William Eklund having such an intelligent game of his own with the unreal skill that he also has. I think you'd see a lot of really fun highlight reel goals between the two of them, and then whoever else is on that line. You throw a Zach Hyman type guy, a Michael Bunting type player there, and you're like, all right, just do some dirty stuff and let these two kind of run the show.
Tony's a Leafs fan.
Yeah,
can't wait for Michael. Can't wait for Michael Bunting to return to average next year.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful.
It's going to be awesome.
Believe me, I think it's a fun signing, but it's not going to win. Like, you're not going to win the Rocket Richard, and people talking about him being a Calder finalist. I'm like, he's 30. He can't be a Calder finalist. Like,
he's an old man. Can Matt Savoy score goals? Because if he argument's sake, the Sharks end up with Matt Savoy, William Eklund's not scoring those goals.
I think he can. Like he had 21 goals in the USHL last year. I think he's got a really good shot.
Is that a lot for the USHL? Just
in 34 games, yeah, it is. In 34 games, it's quite a bit, especially when you look at his stat line. He had 21 goals and 17 assists in 34 games. So it's like he was the goal scorer last year. He scored 30 plus goals at lower levels before. I think you look at this kid and you're like, if he adds a little bit of size, that's really where the difference is going to be. Whether or not it's just strength or actually gets a growth spurt. I think being able to leverage his shot a little bit more. And at the end of the day, he gets to the good high danger areas. He gets shots in from in tight. And when you're a player like him, sure, he may not be a 30, 40 goal scorer consistently, but you compare him to a guy like Lucas Raymond and you're like, I don't think anyone really expected Lucas Raymond to be the goal scorer. He is the NHL level, but working on that shot has gotten him to this level. And now you see Matthew Savoy, and I'm like, this kid works on his shot. It's just another weapon to add to his arsenal. So while he might not be a guy that's scoring 30, 40 consistently, I could see him pushing 25, 30 on a pretty regular basis.
But he's adding like 40 assists.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like he's going to be a crazy playmaker. Like you say William Eklund isn't going to score many of those goals, but I won't be shocked if all of a sudden William Eklund has a little bit of an uptick as a goal scorer just because of Matthew Savoy's presence.
Interesting.
What's the thing he needs to work on other than his size, you think?
I was going to say grow.
Well, but assuming before we move off that, assuming obviously he's probably not going to grow ish, like you can't really bank on a growth spurt. Is there room for him to put on size and still be as good as he is? I
think there is, because he has a lot of speed to his game, and even if he did put on say 15 pounds, he became a guy that's sitting at 5'9", 190. 185. Like, I don't think that's much of an issue, because you look at a lot of these NHL players that are smaller, and it's not like they're sitting there like 5'10", 210 pounds or anything. They're just lean, strong guys. So I think he's certainly got the room to grow. He's got a little bit of strength on him already, especially in his lower body. So it's just going to be getting that upper body strength going, being able to kind of deal with some of the pressure from bigger defensemen. And at the end of the day, he is a small player, and he's going to have small player problems. Braden Point has small player problems, and other guys in the league have small player problems that are a little bit undersized. So you look at these guys and you're like, yeah, there's going to be issues, but the upside they bring is more than going to outweigh that.
So what's the thing he's got to work on then besides physical growing?
I think commitment defensively. I think when he's playing committed defensively, you see him do a lot of really good things. He reads lanes well. He's hound on the puck when he's kind of working his butt off. But there are times where he kind of takes the brake off his foot off the gas, not the brake. Sorry, I can't drive. No, but there are times he needs to take his foot off the gas, or he does take his foot off the gas, and he needs to kind of just commit defensively and be that player that's affecting the game at that end of the ice more consistently. Because when he does commit, he is a guy that kind of outskills guys, just comes up and swipes the puck off your stick without even noticing it. There have been a couple of times this year where a guy cuts to the middle and he's just there, takes the puck, and he's up ice, and the guy's still making the motion as he's cutting towards the net or something, but the puck's not in his stick anymore. So when he does it, he's really good at it. He just doesn't do it as often as you like to see it.
Will he be able to translate that to the NHL? Like, is that going to be an issue? Is he
I don't think so.
Not into it that it's going to be a problem and coaches bench him? Or
no, this isn't like a Carter Savoy from a few years ago where he was tearing up the AJHL, but it's because he sat at center ice half the time or anything.
Are they related?
No, yeah, he is. It's his older brother. No, Carter Savoy and Matthew Savoy are very different players. Carter Savoy is very much of a goal scorer. But Matthew Savoy is this really dynamic presence that can kind of do a little bit of everything, but he is primarily a playmaker. But I do think that puck stripping ability, the ability to outskill guys and kind of outsmart guys along the boards, that's where he's going to really need to excel. I think that's where guys like Braden Point, Mitch Marner, other undersized players throughout the league are able to do it. Is they're just smarter along the boards. And people always say work harder or work smarter, not harder. And that's really what they got to do when they're 5'9" in the NHL.
What do you think is his most underrated skill?
I think it's a shot. I think realistically, his goal scoring is really underrated because people don't give him a ton of credit for it because he's only got 19 goals in 38 games. And well, it's certainly not a bad total. It's not near the top of the league at all. And I think he is a sneaky good goal scorer. He's got a lot of accuracy. He gets to the high danger areas. If he can kind of get a little bit stronger and push a little bit closer to the net and consistently get to that slot area, I think it's going to go up. But at the end of the day, this isn't a guy that you're really looking at and going, this is going to put up 40 goals. But man, he's got that ability to kind of put the puck in the net when you need to.
So if he does hit his like absolute peak ceiling, what type of player would he be?
I think you could realistically see a Mitch Marner type player, like a guy that scores 95 points in a season realistically at his best. I think this is a guy
excited right now.
Yeah, this is a guy that could like really change a team's whole dynamic and kind of change their plans going forward if he hits his ceiling. But there is the risk of every 5'9" player and that they won't hit their ceiling and he becomes a second line center or a second line. Yeah, and he becomes this kind of complementary winger rather than the play driving player that you really expect a player like Matthew Savoy to be. And I've got a ton of faith in this kid, and you've seen some signs of it this year of him really being able to take over a game. And man, like this kid's got a ton of skill. If he can kind of bring it together, it's going to be a scary player.
All right, guys, before we get back to our Matthew Savoy, we want to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Bet Online. Bet Online's got you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football reaches its finale on Sunday with the big game. So Bet Online remains the number one spot for all your sports, scores, and podcast news this season. And it's not just football. Bet Online's got you covered in up to the minute info on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, right along with real live updates on current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing new offers available for the 2022 season. Bet Online, where the game starts.
Does he make the NHL next year?
No, God, no, don't do that. Like I said, if you put him in the NHL next year, you're getting a Jack Hughes rookie season, which is like, you can tell this kid's just a fish out of water and he's not ready for that level. I think you do need at least one more year. Originally he was committed to go to University of Denver and go to the college route. and he decided not to do that and go to the WHL. And I think personally that probably would have been a better way. You get him playing against bigger, stronger guys at the college level next year. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. He's going to be able to dominate the WHL yet again.
So he'll have to dominate next year. Like if he plays 50 games, we want to see like 120 points, something.
Oh yeah, and I think you would probably realistically like he's playing. He's almost through 40 games and he's got 55 points now this year. Like he's had a really good clip this year, so you only expect him to go up there from here. And man, like if he does go to the, to me he's the perfect example of why the NHL or the CHL AHL agreement is garbage. Like I would love to see this guy play at the AHL level next year and see what he's got against men, see what he's got against a league known for just crushing small guys. Like let's see what you got, kid, because that's really what he needs to work on.
And I guess with him there's a high variance, right? He's boom or bust because he's small, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is he is really undersized, so there is always that bust factor. But the way I look at it is he plays in the WHL. If this was a kid coming out of the queue, I almost I'd be very, very cautious because they don't hit or play.
They don't have Gannon Larocque just out there. It's like 6'5" killing people.
It's crazy. But in the WHL, you have guys like Caden Gooley who go headhunting. You have guys that are ready to just go crush dudes. And I mean, the WHL, like the bottom two lines in a lot of teams are just guys that hit. Like they don't have any skill or anything. So a kid being able to excel the way he does at that level in the WHL, I think is the perfect situation because, yeah, he's undersized, but he also comes from the toughest league in North America. So I think it's going to be good for him to come out of the WHL out of any of the CHL leagues.
Cool. So let's get out of here. Unless JD, do you got something?
No, I'm very curious about this kid. I think it's very high variance, but if he hits, man, you might be a steal right here. So,
I mean, the Sharks almost have no shot at being able to draft him.
I don't know. He's 5'9". We've seen guys fall. Like I wouldn't be.
This is true. I guess if you get like Wright, Cooley, and then like Nemec, Jiricek, Slafkovsky, Lambert. Let's say one of the Russians goes Yurov or Miroshnichenko.
The Sens pick some random person like they do.
Yeah, the Sens just grab like Stephen Halliday, overager. Like why not?
Can we get Tyler Boucher again, guys? We're just bringing it back.
He was so bad this year that we just want to draft him again and give him a
just
boost.
To be sure.
I guess there is a way where like those bigger guys go. Your Slafkovskys, your Geekies, your Yurovs, where they go, and then Savoy is sitting there at 10, and you could maybe his skill is not commensurate with going 10 though. His skill is commensurate with going 1, right?
Yeah, like if you were like you have to either have Savoy at 1 or Savoy at 10, and you're getting the value there. He's closer to 1 than he is 10, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would say that even just based on his skill, but the fact that he's 5'9", we've seen NHL teams be done before, and we're gonna go, oh wow, I can't believe Savoy was drafted 14th overall, and he's the best player from this draft class.
So yes, San Jose.
GM
sounds
Tony,
like San Jose.
Yeah, GM Tony, where are you taking Savoy?
The variance is so wide. I want to say 2 to 15, but realistically, if I'm the GM and I'm kind of in the mind of an actual NHL GM, so I'm not as crazy as I am, and I'm not going to completely ignore the fact that he is small. I'll go with 4 to 7. I think he's going to fit into that range because the skill is unreal. I don't think if you let him get to 10, I think there's a lot of teams that are going to be kicking themselves.
True. Okay, blood pact questions. In your own blood, what number is he going at?
4.
So I'm assuming you're going Wright, Cooley, and then who do you have in that third spot?
Nemec or Jiricek. I think one of the defensemen go.
Are you
defenseman?
Are you on Nemec? Nemec isn't that good, or are you on Nemec is actually pretty good?
I'm beginning to love Nemec much more than I did at the start of the season, but I was very low on him at the start of the season. So I still have I have him in like the 5 range right now, and he's competing for my top defenseman. But like realistically, I could see him going as high as 2 or 3 even because the way he's been the last month or two, it's been unreal.
Yeah, and isn't he having like the greatest offensive season in his league or whatever by a defenseman or something
like,
stupid like that?
By a Slovakian defenseman in the men's Slovak league. He's having an unreal season. And I mean, he's going to play on the Olympic team for Slovakia, so he's going to get a ton of love there. And if he even performs half decently there, I think people are going to go, this is the guy to go 2nd overall.
Yep, fair enough. Final blood pack question. Who's the best player in the draft? in 5 years from now?
Matthew
Is it
Savoy.
still-
Let's
Yes.
go. I'll change it up
Changing
from
his
the
answer.
last time we talked.
Okay, here I'll make a little different question. Who's the guy that we look back on and go, why was he drafted there? I don't want to say bust because there's lots of things that go into it, but who gets overdrafted?
Overdrafted. Nathan Goucher. That's not a name that you see a ton at the top, but you're starting to see him on some of the bigger lists get higher up on the thing. And he is the Tyler Boucher of this draft, baby. He's going to go 10th overall to Ottawa or something. And I'm just going to laugh because like he likes to hit people and he plays that Tyler Boucher game. And
Yes,
I don't know. They can't take
Nathan Goucher.
Yeah, Nathan.
but Goucher does sound like a guy who just serves.
Oh, he's French. It should be Gaucher.
Yeah, I'm probably
from-
mispronouncing it because I'm terrible.
He's from Longueuil. You're talking about the guy from the Q, right? Plays
Yeah.
for Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's from Longueuil.
See, I have a problem with pronouncing the names because most of the time when I'm watching games, I put music on because I just can't listen to the commentary most of the time.
I thought you were gonna say I have a problem with French people.
I also don't like Quebec. I hate
I'm
the
clipping that
tropics
part.
and everyone in it. Like,
Tony Ferrari
Noted
hates French
guy.
people. Anyway, Tony, where can people find you and your anti-French bias?
you can find me in my anti-French bias at the Tony Ferrari on Twitter. I'm constantly writing about how much Quebec sucks. But no, in reality, the QMJHL is the worst of the three leagues. I will leave you with that. And it's not by a small margin
defense.
either.
No defense play.
Yeah, it's a glorified beer league. But you can find me at the Hockey News where all my articles are, and you can find a bunch of videos that I do with prospects where I interview them, including one with Matthew Savoy, which I just put out, where we talk about his game and then go over some game tape together and let him pick out and kind of diagnose his own game.
Cool. You can find us at Locked On Sharks on the internet, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with us, talk about things. You guys know our brand. Just dick jokes and William Eklund, baby.
87% shit posting, 13% manifesting.
Yeah, there we go. We saved the franchise. What can you say? We have should never have to buy a beer in San Jose again. I've never been to San Jose. That's a lie. I've been once, but anyway, it's neither here nor there. Where was I? Oh yeah, email lockedonsharks@gmail.com. Don't email us. Yeah, please don't. Or do. Paul, you can email us. You're allowed
Oh,
to.
you're the cool guy.
And Joe, the Haggis man, he actually followed up with an email and said something about how he enjoyed that we read it on air or something like that. And we got like a 3-page email about haggis from our one Scottish listener.
That's my jam. Haggis is something I've always wanted to try.
It's actually, I've had it. It's pretty all right. It's way better than people make it out to be. But anyway, shout out to you, Joe, from Scotland. Listening to us, Spotify, the usual places you can find us. YouTube, if you want to watch us, if you like that, that's your thing. You can do that at YouTube. We're marching towards 600. Got to get to 1,000 so we can make money. It's the ultimate goal. JD is at My Fry Hole. I'm at Kyle Demetrius. Tony is at the Tony Ferrari. The spelled the way you think, and Tony spelled the way you think, and then Ferrari is spelled like the car. It's pretty easy. The Tony Ferrari. Yeah, thanks, Tony. If you never want to come back, we would understand.
We totally understand. We made you
as long as you let me come back and rip apart the QMJHL, I'll be here, boys.
We're gonna do that's. He's only doing QHMJL prospects for now.
I can't wait till we cover Nathan Goucher or Goucher, or however we're gonna pronounce his name.
We've already got you written down for him.
Please don't make me do him.
If you aren't watching, you should watch because Tony is actually leaning on a couch this whole time, like he's too good for the show.
Yeah,
it's really good. He's got the perfect amount of lean.
Like he's literally like about ready to just push away the mic and then grab the like controller and start playing Xbox. That's like what that is.
In fairness, I'm only like this because my laptop does not let me use, for whatever reason, outside of Zoom. It hates my webcam. So I have to plug it into my desktop. So I'm like leaning towards my desktop. Like, yeah, I'm casual, but really I'm tied this way. That's why I'm over there.
Cool. Tony Ferrari hates Quebec is tied up while he does podcasts.
That's very fair.
Get all your hockey content. Locked On Sharks. William Eklund. Friends.
SEO.